Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you have been on my channel before, The Purpose Nurse, but if it is your very first time, then I just want to say welcome. On my channel I talk about faith, purpose, nursing, and inspiring all of you all to live a life filled with purpose and taking you all on my journey through nursing school while I navigate my faith as well. So if you are not subscribed to my channel, stop this video, pause it right here, and go ahead and subscribe. Just go ahead and do it. So I want to share what I will be talking about today with you all. So for those of you who don't know, I'm currently in immersion. I'm in my second to last quarter before I graduate nursing school. Literally, I graduate in now about 5 months. So it's really exciting, nerve-wracking, but mostly exciting. So I literally had my first new grad nurse residency program interview today about 45 minutes to an hour ago, and I want to go ahead and film a video and share this video with you all so that it can just be raw and real 100%. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, and I'm just going to be honest like I always am. So if you're interested in hearing how my very first new grad nurse residency interview went, then keep on watching. All right, y'all, so let's get to it. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, or whatever it is people say. I think it's meat and potatoes. But y'all, let me tell y'all. So my immersion has been going great, but I have really been tired and I'm just getting exhausted, like, since my program is nearing its end. And I will say that in the past, for interviews that have not been nursing related, I typically do really well on interviews because I'm a talker, if you guys haven't noticed. I like to talk, so talking is not hard for me, and I feel like because I have been pursuing the medical career, nursing career for a significant amount of time, I do have some examples to provide for certain questions that are asked. Specifically for this interview, I felt like it was pretty straightforward. I didn't feel like there were any tricky questions. I didn't feel like I answered any questions that made me pause or say or anything like that. I literally was myself. I was the typical Jalen. I talked the way I normally talk. I was honest, and I just did my best to show them Jalen and be pure and honest about my intentions for their program, for their hospital, and of course I asked questions. So for this specific nurse residency program, it is in another state, and originally I was going to fly out to the state, but after reconsidering and talking with my best friend, shout out to Dorothea, it may seem silly, but I didn't really think about asking them like, oh, can I do this interview by Skype, because it was my first interview and I didn't want them to think like, oh, I'm not willing to fly out there for the interview or whatever. So I did contact them back and asked them, do they offer Skype interviews? And the coordinator, who I was responding back and forth with, she was like, oh yeah, we offer Skype interviews. And I was like, perfect. Is it okay if I switch to a Skype interview? And she says that's perfectly fine. So this was really a good moment for me, because I literally was trying to think about how am I going to schedule this interview around like immersion that I'm currently in right now. I have 3 different preceptors that work different days and all this other stuff going on. So I again was excited, but I was like, okay, how am I gonna make this work, get all this stuff together? So that alleviated a lot of stress once she clarified that I could do the interview via Skype. So as I already told you guys before, the interview was today. Now, mind you, I've used Skype before. I had Skype downloaded on my laptop and everything. I made sure to look at this particular hospital's website, and I would definitely encourage all of you to do that for any interview that you're going on, whether it's nursing related or not. Look up background information about the company, hospital, organization, whatever that you're trying to work for, just to familiarize yourself with their mission, vision, values, goals. If it's a hospital, do they do research? Are they a magna hospital? What type of models do they have for their nursing staff? What type of leadership do they have? You want to look up all those things and just be prepared to recognize them, share them, or elaborate on them, and it shows that you did your research. So let's get back to the story. So you all, I literally was getting ready for the interview, I'd say probably about like 2-3 hours before it was supposed to take place, because there is a 2-hour time difference. So I was getting together, looking at website, everything like that. I was kind of nervous, but not really. I was kind of nervous because I've never done a nursing interview per se, and I've heard that there are a lot of behavioral type questions, and I haven't even graduated nursing school yet, so there are certain things or events like I haven't experienced or haven't been involved in. So that was an area of nervousness for me, but talking is not really an issue for me. I can get in front of people and talk. That's not really a problem. So I literally was like, I'm gonna go ahead and get on Skype a little bit early. They tell you to like silence your phone, and I made sure that my background, so the background that I have right now, this is like I'm sitting at my desk, my window is behind my camera, and you guys can see my shoe rack right here. So I didn't sit this way because I wanted my background to be solid. I wanted it to be nice. I wanted it to be professional. So I actually filmed like in my kitchen, in front of my bathroom door, because I have pictures up and it's just really, really nice. So that's where I said filmed. So that's where I set my laptop up for the Skype interview. So I'm on the Skype interview call probably about 4 or 5 minutes early, and I proceed to try and turn my camera on. Y'all, my laptop camera is not working, it's acting up. And so at this point I have the two directors like sitting in front of me for this particular unit I was interviewing for, and they're like, oh, is everything okay? And I let them know, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out why my camera is not working. Now mind you, I've never had any issues with my laptop camera, because I know what some of y'all are probably thinking like, oh, did you look into this before the interview, things like that. I was not having any type of issues or any type of technical difficulties with my webcam. I don't even really use it like that, but I made sure to try it out like about a week ago to make sure that everything was okay. So they were using Skype for Business and not regular Skype. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, or whatever the case may be, but Skype for Business was not working for me webcam wise. They could hear me, I could see them, I could hear them, but they could not see me. So at this point, I feel like it would have been really easy for me to just get all discombobulated, get fearful, get worried, and just literally like zone out, because they can't see me. They don't know what I look like. They don't see how professional I look and how nicely dressed I am. But I kept it together and we went ahead and moved forward. And the interview, I felt like, was very laid back. Both of them introduced themselves, and they went ahead and spoke first and basically let me know about this specific department. They let me know about scheduling. They let me know about their new grad nurse program. They let me know about projects that the new grads have to complete within a year. They literally let me know everything about their prospective department, and then they asked me if I had any questions at that time. And at that time, they had provided me with so much information, and it was so specific that I had no questions for them. So then she moved into the behavioral questions. The questions were not difficult. I felt like they were typical questions that are asked on any interview, really, with the exception of the nursing component. So she asked me what my strengths were. She asked me what my weaknesses were. She asked me about a clinical scenario where I had to work in a team. She asked me about a clinical scenario where it was emergency and how did I handle myself. She asked me about working with difficult coworkers. She asked me about what has been the most challenging part of nursing school. So her questions weren't really, in my opinion, they weren't really questions I feel like you could prepare for. And I know everybody out there is saying, like, you want to practice your responses, you want to have your responses down and things like that. And I agree that there are some responses like, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, tell me about yourself, what made you enter into the nursing profession, why do you want to work at this hospital. Like, there are certain questions that you can practice your responses to. But for me specifically for this interview, there weren't a lot of practiced responses that I could share with them, on top of me already trying to focus and disregard the fact that my camera's not working and they can't see me, and the only thing they can hear is my voice. But while I was interviewing, I felt that I was actually really awesome. And I know that sounds weird, but just bear with me. I say that because they had to take looks out of the equation. Because let's be real, first impressions matter. And they couldn't see me to get a first impression of me. They can only hear me. So that's pretty much it. That's how the nursing interview went. They did ask me again if I had any questions at the end, and at that time I did ask questions. I asked them what drew them to that specific hospital. I asked them what are their expectations of their new grads, and I also asked them if they have relocation packages, because of course, as you all know, I'm in California, so I feel like that's a very valid question to ask. I would definitely say look on YouTube for other videos that talk about nursing interviews and what you should do and things like that. But above all, I would really encourage all of you who are in the process of interviewing or just kind of nervous about interviewing, just be yourself. Literally just be yourself. And I say that because while I have been in immersion, they have conducted interviews, and I went into one day and I was early. I got on the unit about 6 o'clock. I didn't have to really be there until like 7, but I have to get to the unit really, really early because it takes me a minute to like write down all my patient information. So as I'm walking through the nurses station, I hear the nurses talking about the interviewees that had come in. They weren't saying names or anything like that, but they were just talking about, you know, some things they like and didn't like. And it was just casual talk. They weren't bashing them or making fun of them or anything like that. So I just want to put that out there. But they were simply stating that they could tell there were some interviewees that had literally these textbook answers, textbook responses that you get straight off the computer that they have been practicing. And they just expressed that they really appreciated the interviewees that were transparent, that were honest. And so I say all that to say you can practice your responses, but still leave a little bit of yourself in there as well. Don't make it too monotone or bland or what they want to hear. Be honest. And I say that because wherever you are supposed to get your job at, wherever you are supposed to work, you're going to get a job there. Point blank, period. Y'all know I always say this: what God has for you is for you, and no one can take that from you. Remember that. Don't ever forget it. So it's normal to be a little bit nervous, but just be yourself. You only have to be yourself to get what God has for you. It's literally that simple. But still, do your research, look up the hospital, look up the unit, think about what your strengths are, think about what your weaknesses are, think about what you have to contribute to the organization, think about where you want to be as a nurse in 3 to 5 years. Think about all those things. So I hope this video was helpful to you. If you like this video, then go ahead and just hit the little thumbs up and give me a like. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if y'all are not already subscribed. But until then, y'all already know, be purposed. Bye.